guys, Dave coming to you again from my tiny kitchen. Because my kitchen is so small, one of the things I try to do is to prep some foods in advance that I can freeze and reuse rather quickly. You know, for example, freezing fruits, drying fruits and freezing them. And what I'm going to show you today is another one is making waffles. So waffles aren't the healthiest choice to be eating on a constant basis, but they are a nice mix to have in your freezer just to, you know, change up the pace of what you're having for a breakfast. And it's good for the kids too. They can just grab a waffle, pop it in the toaster, a couple minutes later, good to go. It's also a better choice making it from scratch than, you know, the kind that you can't let go of. I love this recipe. It's one I've done for a while. It really works well for me, so I haven't really researched any other waffle recipes. I really like this one. They're quite delicious. I'm sure you're going to like it. So you can see I've got 3 bowls here ready to go for my various ingredients. The first thing I want to do is my dry ingredients. I have a sieve, and I want to sift. Should grab a knife to do this. I want to sift 4 cups of flour, and obviously this just helps get rid of any chunkies in the flour and makes it nice and smooth and even to deal with. Now I want 3 tablespoons of baking powder. Next is 1 teaspoon of salt. And a 1/2 cup of white sugar. Mix all those dry ingredients together so they're nice and evenly combined. Now your dry ingredients are ready to go. I want to have 4 eggs separated. So in the small bowl here, I'm going to have my egg whites. My egg whites are going to go into the blender, and you're going to want to beat these up. You're going to want to beat them until stiff peaks form. So I want my egg whites to have stiff peaks, and the way to test that is just stop your blender, pull them out, and you can see if it gets a stiff peak. So that's where they need to be. While the egg whites are beating, I'm plugging in my waffle maker so that that can get up to temperature. And I'll get my rest of my wet ingredients together. So to the egg yolks, I'm going to add 4 cups of milk. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of vegetable oil. And I'm also going to add some vanilla extract. So this is a nice little present my kids brought back for me when they went for a trip to Mexico with their mom. So this is the real deal pure vanilla. If you get your hands on a product like this, treasure it. It's great stuff. But I want 2 teaspoons, so 1, 2, and then I'll mix that together while my egg whites are getting up to where I need them to be. Alright, now we're going to bring all the ingredients together. So the wet goes into the dry. And combine. And then the egg whites go in. And so really importantly, you don't want to just stir the egg whites in. You want to fold them in so they don't lose their air. And there, batter's ready to go. Just got to get the waffle maker up to temperature and we can make some waffles. With my Think Kitchen waffle iron, it's up to temperature and ready when that ready light goes off. Okay, the light's off. Time to get some waffles on here. I have a little bowl of vegetable oil and a brush. And I'm just going to quickly put a little bit of oil on each of the griddle surface areas. And as for how much to put in, you're just going to have to experiment for what works for you. You might fail your first couple of waffles, but that's okay, you'll figure it out. I have my ladle here, and I find with this particular ladle that if I put in like a heaping scoop of batter, that's enough. And then you can spin it, rinse, wash, repeat. Close it up, rotate it back, lock it in, and I set a timer for 8 minutes is where I like to be at. While that batch of waffles is cooking, I'm going to set up my cookie sheet for freezing. So what I like to do is to layer the waffles on the cookie sheet with parchment paper in between so I can freeze them and they'll freeze independently. If you try to put them in a bag all together without doing this first, they'll more than likely stick together and give you a hard time taking them out. So a cookie sheet with a long piece of parchment paper that I'll just fold over and over again as I build the layers up. Alright, there's our 8 minutes. Unlock it. And just pop each waffle out of there. They should come out pretty easy. Now you just have to wait a couple minutes because the waffle iron needs to come back up to temperature, but you can just take a couple of seconds and trim off the bits that were on the outside of the waffle because most of those won't be cooked. Yes, that's right. I have no dishwasher. So this is my last waffle. And what I'll do is I'll take this cookie sheet full of waffles separated by parchment paper, I'll put it in the freezer for a couple hours, and then I'll bring it back out and I'll pack these all in to a freezer bag, and then whenever anybody wants one, fresh homemade waffles. So my mom and I have decided we're going to have a waffle at the end of all of this, so we're going to whip up some whipped cream in the meantime while those waffles are cooking. So I'm really fortunate that here in town I have a friend that has a maple syrup store. He buys his maple syrup from the Maritimes, brings it out here, packages it up, and distributes it. I'm not endorsed by him. I've received no money for this. He's just a friend, and I love his product. But I am going to give him a little plug. There's his website, and there's the name, Maple Rock. His name's Rock, so that's where he got the name from, but Maple Rock, 100% pure maple syrup. This stuff is the bomb. Alright, time to load it up. 1 waffle. Real Canadian maple syrup. And whipped cream. Homemade waffles.